This is the Sunday stream opening song because the other song is copyrighted. La 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 la. Oh, look, here comes Dog Cat Fox.
Hi, Sky.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday stream, the stream I do on Sundays, because Sunday is the day to stream on Sundays. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. It's a little cloudy out. You know, got the soft light coming through everything on a Sunday morning. Very comfortable. But yes, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces because we don't have our talcum powder to take the shine off or something. I don't know. Anyway. Hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. And as far as everyone goes, who is everyone that's joining me so far? Molly Okami, good morning. Noah Asensio, good morning. Keeverdam, good morning. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for providing the links to the GoFundMes for our friends Moonshock, Natalie, Angela, Ariaga, James Colley, and Rhonda. In particular, if you would, I know I'm playing a little bit of favorites here, but given the circumstances, if you could take a moment to take a look specifically at the GoFundMe for Moonshock. He has an update on his cancer treatment, and playing favorites. If you can donate to and or share that link out today, I would appreciate it, and I'm sure he would too. So thank you so much for your attention, and thank you, Keeverdam, for the links as always. Mike R, good morning. Advocatus Diaboli, good morning. Spiral Girl, good morning. Good morning. Okay, well, I'm going to skip that one. Kiro Soldier, good morning. Tier Alexander, the Gentleman Lich, good morning. I'll have to be more enunciative today. You know, I actually spent part of the morning recording audio for a video I am working on. I know, an actual scripted video. And I was reminded once again why I hate recording audio, because any mistake I make, I have to back up. Sometimes start all over from the beginning of a paragraph or a section and do it all over again and watch how I say my words, and do they come out clearly, and did I stumble, mumble, bumble, whatever. Hopefully it'll be worth it. We shall see. Shadowclaw, good morning. Who else is here? Jam, good morning. Non-Vitae Rex, good morning. John Trioxin, good morning. JB, good morning. SWD40, good morning. Robert Pincus, good morning. And the Messianic Militant, good morning to you. And for anybody else, I don't think I missed anybody, but if I did miss you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, good morning. So with that being said, wait, did the Mandela effect happen? Did I change dimensions? Why? What happened? Well, what do you think happened? What does your brain tell you happened that has happened differently now? Simon Willikins, good morning. Did I like instigate some kind of deja vu moment or something? Anyway, so on Friday, out of the blue, out of the pure boredom, I did a stream Friday night of some J-random DEI videos I found. And one of them was for a company, I guess technically, or a sub-brand of a company called DEI Board, which again is a subdivision of board.org, which sounds like it might be the most sleepy website on the planet. But in fact, it is some kind of clearinghouse, as far as I can tell, for a confidential information sharing service platform, chat, something. I don't know. But we read a little bit of their website on Friday, and it seems to be a corporate service for, at least in this instance, DEI executives to be able to collaborate and communicate and strategize and so on and so forth through a confidential format. So, in the course of that as well, I discovered, as I probably should have, since there was a video about their services in some way that last time, they have their own YouTube channel. And on this YouTube channel, there are a plethora of little interviews, little bits and pieces of commentary and promotional stuff from various DEI executives from their member companies. And so I selected, I think, 5 little segments of different subject matter, I am assuming, featuring, in most instances, diversity, equity, inclusion executives from some major companies, just to see what they had to say about this service, about their, I don't know, experiences with it, because it's still kind of a mystery to me. But it is interesting that the DEI intelligentista or whatever are all commingling and communicating behind the scenes through some confidential format, which is, I guess, entirely their prerogative. It just feels a little odd for some reason. Derek LaRue, thank you very much, as always, for your continued generosity and support. Hope you're having a good Sunday and hope you enjoy the show. I didn't mispronounce anything there. See, I'm watching my pronunciation today more so after the whole good moaning. That was just too much. JB says, I thought something changed. It was Berenstain, right? Yeah. Berenstain, not Berenstein. Anyway, so that's the setup. Also, as a little treat for those of you that have any idea what this is, you'll know it when you see it. There you go. So anybody who was really excited to see that, that is what you have to look forward to on the off chance that I have a moment. Anyway, so this entire collection of little segments meets about 15 minutes worth of time, so we'll probably cover that well before my usual 1 hour and 30-minute stopping mark. Let's see, anything else I have to say before then? I don't think so. I think that's everything. All right, let's go.
I think one piece of advice that I would offer an emerging or a new DEI leader.
Okay, before we begin, this is the Global Leader of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at McCain Goods. I don't know what McCain Goods is, or Foods. Was it Foods? Sorry, the tracker on the video is blocking the name and title. Okay, so McCain Foods. All right.
I think one piece of advice that I would offer an emerging or a new DEI leader is to find community. This is hard work. It is lonely work, and you don't want to do it alone.
Hard work and lonely work. Diversity work is hard and lonely work. Why do it? I mean, I understand that some people like a challenge in their employment. I get it. But I mean, if the perpetual condition of your job is difficulty and isolation, I don't know. I might find a different career. I'm just saying.
So I think finding community is really important.
Mm-hmm.
There's so few spaces you can be in DEI.
Oh, this is a montage. I didn't know it was a montage. Okay, so this is the VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Hard Rock International. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so we've had McCain Foods and now Hard Rock International. Okay.
Important.
There's so few spaces you can be in DEI where every question that comes out of everyone's mouth in every meeting, you go, wow, that's interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
Okay. I mean, if you say so. I've never been in a DEI meeting.
And that we preach this, right? We preach diversity of thought. Do you mean it?
You do. You preach. I mean, maybe you're the exception to the rule. I don't know. You preach diversity of thought. I mean, you would be a diamond amongst the rough if that were true, because 99.9% of the time, diversity of thought is at best a maybe, and I'm being generous here, maybe tertiary consideration if it's mentioned at all. But I mean, if you say so.
Get in a room with other practitioners who are doing this work, and it's going to flip what you thought about DEI upside down, and you're going to be better for it.
Practitioners. I'm always, just out of my lack of vocabulary here. Practitioner, a person who practices a profession or art. Okay. Because when I hear practitioner, I immediately think of like a doctor. I think of someone who's doing something rooted in empirical science or something, right? Or maybe even something religious. I guess it could be anything. Okay. But yeah, my mind goes to something far more reason and logic based when I hear practitioner for some reason. So having it applied to DEI is a little odd. It always has been a little odd.
It's almost like a secret weapon. It's like, you just have an extension. I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's great. Whereas if you go to somewhere else, it'll be a research paper. It'll be sort of generic and you're going to have to do it. Like this this DA board allows you to really, as I said, it's an extension of your network, and you can actually, tailor what you're getting out of it based on that. So I think that's been a huge win.
Okay, I believe he said NDA board, and this was mentioned either in the previous video or through the website. I'm not quite sure, but either way, if I remember correctly, and I'm happy to be corrected otherwise, yeah, there is a non-disclosure agreement that surrounds the entirety of whatever this company offers to, in this case, DEI executives to communicate with one another. So it's all very hush-hush, figuratively and literally, which I still find, like, I can't say there's anything insidious about it. I mean, confidentiality amongst people or whatever is fine, I guess, depending. We're not talking about, like, government secrets here or something, as far as I know. But as I think I mentioned in the previous stream, it just reminds me a little bit of, like, Game Journo Pros. Anybody remembers that from the Gamergate era, where the game journalists had this secret message board where they were exchanging ideas and also sort of collaborating and or colluding to push a particular message here, there, and otherwise. That all of these corporate DEI executives have their own private chat system or something behind the scenes to share ideas and strategize together. It's interesting. And I really would like to be the proverbial fly on the wall for some of those conversations.
It can feel lonely. You feel like there's all these things you're trying to solve for, and then you sit down with this community and you're not alone, and we're all working on the same core things.
You are not alone.
And so I think that adds peace to what you do, right? We're doing the right work and we're moving it forward. So that is, I think, one of the biggest value adds that I see as being part of this community.
But I think more than anything we don't talk about as a practitioner or a leader in the DEI space is you need someone where you can just get your cup filled. So you might just be having a bad day and you have someone who's not close to the work.
All I'm getting from this is that being a DEI executive requires a whole lot of therapy. I mean, and they can't find it within their own company or coworkers or anything, because I guess it's just so specialized. It just sounds like a very sad state of affairs. Like, why would you want to have this job? What makes this job desirable? Advocata says all journalists have that, like a behind the scenes thing. Yeah, I think the controversy there was that they were conspiring on message and tone and favoritism and such and things and such that reflected a certain level of corruption, let's say, or manipulation more than anything else, rather than being quote unquote objective as journalists, etc. So I'm not saying that career professionals can't or shouldn't communicate with each other for tips and tricks and advice and things like that. That's if that's how that came across, that's not how I meant it. It's just interesting to me, and especially in the space of DEI, given the volatility of the subject these days, it would be interesting to know like what they discuss. And particularly, I would love to know if and when subjects regarding legality come up, how they either discuss those subjects or avoid them or rationalize them away and so on.
Meaning what's happening in your organization, but they understand what you're doing and they can say, keep with it. The fight, you're fighting the good fight. It's okay.
This is all practical. This is not theory. This is what I did. This is how we're thinking. This is what we're doing. This is what went wrong. I would love some advice from people. And there's nothing wrong with theory.
I think, yeah, this is the same. Oh, I just had a thought. In this montage, are we seeing bits and pieces of the other videos I selected? Because they're selecting little bits from various figures to discuss these things. Oh boy, there might be some repetition here. I suddenly have a feeling, so I apologize in advance. I didn't know that might be the case.
But I really love and appreciate the practical insights and sharing that we get from people, because that helps me think about, even if I've done something similar, but they did something a little bit differently that I can now think of incorporating into my strategy or this practice that I'm doing. So if you're thinking about joining the DEI board, just do it.
Okay. I would love to have some specifics. I know I'm not going to get any. But okay, so that's segment number 1, just sort of a montage. Well, we'll say preview of what might be coming up in the other segments, because I think 1 or 2 of the other speakers are featured on some of the other segments I picked out. So, all right, so we had Panera Bread, we had McCain Foods, we had Mars Corporation. I think that's the company that deals with the candy bars. We had GE just now. So yeah, a lot of high level companies and their DEI executives. All right, maybe we'll get some specifics. I think one of the videos I have on here is actually one from a manager or maybe the owner or something of this company or something. We'll find out more.
The advice that I would give to someone stepping into this role for the first time would be to pause.
Okay, I hope it's not a complete repetition.
And listen, right? To really spend time to understand what the associate or the employee population needs, and what they want to see this work look like. I think it's really important that we are meeting the needs of the associate versus meeting our needs or doing what we think is important.
What constitutes a need of the associate regarding DEI? What does DEI do? Or I should say, what needs does DEI address for an individual associate or client or whatever?
And the other piece that I would say is dig into the data, get to know data, love data, embrace data. I think it is one of the greatest tools in storytelling. The trends that I'm thinking about over the next 3 to 5 years that are kind of like running through my mind, is really how do we embrace this idea of belonging for all?
Yeah, belonging is really taking center stage lately. The whole DEIB thing, adding belonging as though that's some kind of magical incantation that makes everything better. I still don't quite understand what it's supposed to be. It just sounds to me like one more addition in the litany of good sounding words to make the whole process seem friendly. But it's certainly on the rise recently.
And not forget about the journey that other individuals have been on, or the individuals that feel left out or left behind. So it's how do we recognize, acknowledge that, right? But then also make sure that we're not leaving others behind and creating those inequities when we're trying to solve for inequities, if that makes sense.
Oh, you mean like implementing discriminatory hiring and staffing practices in order to counteract presumed discriminatory practices because the, racial demographics of your workforce are in a disparity, that kind of thing?
The other trend that I would say is looking at the generations coming into the workforce, like they embrace intersectionality, right?
Oh, and thank goodness that they do. Thank goodness. Yes, intersectionality. Tell me all about intersectionality and how it applies to the workplace. Do you? I wonder if our speaker knows the origins of intersectionality as a legal theory for complaining about discrimination in the workplace. So this is what I don't get. Embracing intersectionality. Intersectionality, as I was told by Kimberly Crenshaw, the technical creator of the concept, at least in the modern parlance of things, is when you have one element of a person, let's say their race, and you have another element of a person, let's say their gender. And there's discrimination against the race itself. There's discrimination against the gender itself. But then if you have the gender and the race intersecting with one another, that's a whole other different level of discrimination that you can complain about or imagine that you are the victim of, and so on. So why would you want someone to embrace intersectionality? Or what is the definition of embracing intersectionality? Because intersectionality seems to be the outgrowth of a bad way of treating people. So when someone says embracing intersectionality, I always wonder, like, what do you mean? What does that look like? If you even know what intersectionality originally meant.
Workforce, like, they embrace intersectionality, right? And so, yes, we have data that looks at specific areas of associates or individuals.
Specific areas? Are we dancing around definitions here again? Areas? What kind of areas? Like melanin count by any chance?
But I just think the generation coming into the workforce is saying, like, I'm a whole person, like, take me as I am.
Take me as I am. I'm getting song lyrics going through my head now.
And then, you know, when you look at that workforce as well, they're really thinking, like, what are you also doing to benefit me? So I think continuing to show the value, the WIFM, what's in it for them.
The WIFM, what's in it for me or them? Okay. How about a paycheck? How about a steady paycheck and conceivably, you know, dental medical insurance? What's in it for me? I don't know. Would you like a job? Would you like to get out of your parents' house maybe? You know, live like a legitimate, productive adult, perhaps?
And why people should care about this work. Being a part of the DE&I board means, to me, like, why it's important, why it adds value is all the people that I've been connecting with, right?
Well, that's its whole point. It's basically a glorified chat platform with exclusive access covered by an NDA where you talk to like-minded or similar career professionals. It's a networking app, as far as I can tell. So,
Right? Like, they are amazing human beings, very passionate about this work.
They'd have to be to get past all the loneliness and the challenges and the questionable ethics of the very thing that they do. They would have to be passionate, yeah.
And when you're having those conversations and connecting with them, it's a reminder that we're all working on the same stuff. We're all in this together. I think when you sit in your silo or when you go back to your desk, your computer, whatever.
Your desk, your computer, whatever. Or, I mean, your smartphone at the Starbucks could also work these days, sure.
It can feel lonely. You feel like there's all these things you're trying to solve for. And then you sit down with this community and you're not alone. And we're all working on the same core things. And
yeah, race, gender, orientation, mostly.
So I think that adds peace to what you do, right? We're doing the right work and we're moving it forward. So that is, I think, one of the biggest value adds that I see as being part of this community.
You know, and I mean this sincerely. I'm not trying to be, I can be, and I'm often sardonic in things, but in all sincerity, I really worry. Now I've listened to not only our, you know, most recent speaker here, but also people in the past. I really worry about people that either by their own sense of, let's say, misplaced righteousness, or just the sort of track that they've put themselves in because of their career choices and things, end up doing DEI stuff. For as much as I've heard so far from our speakers here and elsewise of just how lonely this work is and challenging and stressful and so on, I worry for their long-term mental health. I really do, especially if and when it dawns on them exactly what it is that they are promoting and have dedicated their professional careers to. That's... I for everything else I might criticize about the DEI apparatus, I really do wonder what the fallout is going to be when it finally collapses under its own weight and you have all of these people who have dedicated decades of their lives to doing this stuff and it becomes absolutely repellent. I guess we'll see.
So what advice would I give to a DEI leader stepping into the role for the first time?
I don't know.
I would say you try to tap into the passion that exists within the business. So I've had the pleasure in my organization where we opened up, you know, the desire to have a BRG program.
A BRG program? Are you talking about business resource groups? AKA employee resource groups or ERGs. Boy, howdy, I tell you, BRGs, they are my favorite. I hope you'll tell us about your BRGs. How are your BRGs distributed and divided?
And to my surprise and pleasure, 1,800 people right out of the gate said, yes, I'm in. You know, get me in, coach.
Okay, great. 1,800 people into BRGs. What kind of BRGs?
I think that's the key. So recognize that you're not in this by yourself. You have a lot of people who are like-minded, who are interested in this work. Don't take it on your shoulders by itself. Like, empower others. And
are we hearing similar themes here? Loneliness, taking it all by yourself, passion. Yeah.
as a DEI leader, all you need to do is just remove barriers and, and help them, achieve their goals and aspirations. So hopefully you've got an organization that supports you personally, which I guess is going to be the case. And then all you have to do is just really empower others. So what are the current trends that I'm thinking about, and what am I thinking about for the future?
Yes.
Well, currently you can see that certain aspects of what we do is very polarizing.
You don't say. Certain aspects of what you do is true. It is absolutely true. Polarizing. You might almost say divisive amongst racial and gender lines mostly. And as always, everyone, for those of you that might be listening or are not familiar, I do have to pause, sometimes awkwardly, quite often, on the off chance that YouTube decides I've let something run too long. So that's the reason why.
So, specifically with regards to the Pride community, there's also the layering of the politicalization of this whole thing. And so as a DEI professional in our organization, you have to kind of cut through all that.
How do you cut through all of the political polarization of elevating people on the basis of their sexual orientation? And in fact, the eternal question I have regarding that is, how does that conversation go in DEI work when you're trying to determine the demographic makeup of your workforce on the basis of their bedroom preferences? How does that conversation get initiated, I wonder?
Ultimately, what we do boils down to respect. It boils down to allowing you to do your best work in the best way you can, right? So when we say bring your authentic self to work, what we're meaning is that you might be different than I, and that's okay. I accept that, right?
Okay, so RESPECT, tell me how to DEIB. Or something.
Right? As long as you're getting the work done in a respectful way, that's all that really matters, right? So currently in 2023, it's very political, it's very polarized, and you're hearing, you're too woke, or don't go woke, and all.
Or it's, borderline illegal, what companies have been doing for years, and the Supreme Court basically outlined that using race as a determining factor in opportunities, at least in colleges, and mapped over to businesses is unconstitutional, that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I get you.
All that sort of stuff. And it's not really about that. Ultimately, it's about respect.
Right?
If you say to me, Daryl, I want you to call me Bunny. Okay.
Daryl, I want you to call me Bunny. Okay. Hey, Bunny. Are you going to respond? I'm a rabbit. I don't talk. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Bunny.
That's what you want to do. I respect what your decision, your wishes are, and I'm going to call you that, right?
Okay. He did say Bunny, right? Not Buddy. I wonder where he got that from. Bunny. All right. I'm going to respect your wishes. I'll call you that. I can't imagine that that might be awkward in like a meeting or something. Everybody's sitting around, and what if that person only told you, like, he only wants you to call him Bunny? You start calling him Bunny. Oh boy.
So it's simple as that. It's just a respectful thing.
Is that really a respectful thing, or does it sound a little cartoonish and childish after a while? I mean, can I wonder, I forget which company he works for, if I can just like say what I want to be called. Like, your lordship. Everybody, from now on, I will be known as your lordship. I will be addressed in this way because it's a matter of respect. Respect my wishes. Where's the line? And when do you know when it's been crossed in a professional environment?
What I like about the DEI board, it's kind of like you get what you put in, Meaning,
Uh-huh.
there's other companies or other services that will be more research based, where
Uh-huh.
they give you a lot of reports, white papers, and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
those are great, and everybody has a role to play. But here, it's
Mhm.
where I have a problem, I have something I'm working on, racking my brain.
If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the beat while the DEI resolves it. Ice baby.
Just go to fast feedback. I send it to the community, and invariably somebody is doing that, right? I said, oh wow, and they give me an answer, or I can reach out to them and we can talk further.
Yeah, okay, I get it. I really do get the theory. Professional networking. It's not new. Makes sense. It's fine. Okay. I'd love to hear some more details on exactly what problems you guys are trying to tackle. It sounds a lot more like psychological trauma than anything else.
So it's really an extension. It's almost like a secret weapon. It's like you just have an extension of, oh wow, okay, that's great. Whereas if you go to somewhere else, it'll be a research paper. It'll be sort of generic, and you're gonna have to do it. Like this DA board allows you to really, as I said, it's an extension of your network, and you can actually tailor what you're getting out of it based on that. So I think that's been a huge win.
The other thing I noticed, and I remember specifically way back in the old days of my channel, I did a video that featured the, I believe it was the chief diversity officer of eBay. And I remember, I don't know why I remember these things. I haven't watched that video in years, but some things stick with you. If I recall correctly, he was talking about having only been on the job for a relatively brief time at the point that this little segment was created. And that one of the first things he did was to go around to the employees and ask them, what does diversity mean to you? And I remember being bewildered at that time that someone who was in a position, has a job title as an executive in a major company called Chief Diversity Officer. It's like, why do you need to ask the employees what it means to them? Shouldn't you know what it is and how to apply it? It's your job. It didn't make any sense to me. And it still doesn't make any sense to me that even now, the concepts behind how you achieve diversity are so abstract and so ill-defined that people in positions of authority overseeing this idea, this agenda, at least rhetorically, still seem to be kind of lost and bewildered themselves as to what it is they're supposed to be doing or how they're supposed to be doing it. You would think after this amount of time there would be something of a standardized playbook, but maybe that's just the nature of DEI. You can never really define it, or else you're going to maybe get in trouble or paint yourself into a corner. All right, on to the next one. Oh, now we have questions. Okay, what advice would you offer to someone stepping into a DEI leadership role? So now you're just putting the question up that everybody else was answering earlier without having the question up. Okay.
So the advice I would offer anyone stepping into a new DEI role would be to pace yourself. I have been in the role for about 18 months. I came as a consultant, which is very different from being invested in the business day to day.
Yes. So you started off as a DEI consultant. Now you're the chief executive diversity officer, whatever, for Bally's. All right. So pace yourself.
And what I realized very quickly is that DEI can come in the form of very many different topics in the business. And so you'll have leadership, you'll have employees, you'll have the HR team, everyone saying, do this, do this, do this. Or
well, that's because DEI needs to be embedded into every aspect of the business to show off how righteous and ESG every company is. Plus the fact that DEI is, again, so abstract that you can't say that this isn't your responsibility or that's not in my job description. When you have these umbrella terms, it applies to everything, and they will apply it to everything. If you were a consultant prior to becoming an employee, you'd think you know what you're getting into. But Okay.
You will have gotten so excited about it that you've got, like I did, a 14 initiative plan, and you're trying to, implement all of it at once. So I think pacing yourself and really being strategic about what's really important first.
Yes. Set priorities, plan a schedule. Okay. What trends on the horizon are you thinking about? All right.
I believe that on all of our lists is going to be the political impact of legislation.
Yes, you could be right. I mean, the others have hinted at it here and there, but yes, legislation. It is interesting, isn't it, that the very industry you are a part of is so legally tenuous.
I'm in a highly regulated industry.
Okay.
Legislation has been very different over the past decade, state by state, as it relates to gaming.
Oh, I thought you were talking about DEI. Yes, Bally's deals with gaming, gambling, and so on. That's the kind of legislation you're talking about? Is this going to lead off into a discussion about DEI and legislation?
And it's shifting because there's a lot more conversation around the barriers to entry for people of color. How can they get into it? How can they be investors?
What in the gaming industry? I mean, the actual gambling. I'm going to differentiate between gaming and gambling because gaming we talk about video games and such, but the gambling industry, there's barriers to entry for people of color in investing. I mean, the barrier might be for anybody in investing. Do you have money to invest? Like, I don't have any money to invest into the gambling industry, but what does that have to do with my skin color? Or all right, I'll play along and we'll see if she says anything. What is the DEI officer at Bally's doing to lower the barriers for entry for investors of a particular color?
What does that look like in terms of transforming communities? Is it a good thing to transform communities?
What?
So really understanding the political landscape and how it impacts communities of color across the board for businesses, because the demographics are shifting in every state. So I think the political landscape as it relates to legislation is going to be what's critically important, and that we're ahead of it and not reacting to it.
Wait. So you start off talking about one of the things to consider is legislation. Legislation pertaining to the legality or the scope with which gambling can be situated in any particular state. At least that's what I got from the first part. But then we get into investment or access to either gambling or, again, I guess the business aspect of that for people of color. And then what was any of that about? Does anybody have any idea? And the demographics are changing and the voting block is changing and what? What does being a part of the DEI board mean to you? Okay, let me guess. It means that I am not alone. It means that I have people to talk to take the weight off my shoulders. It means I can collaborate and share ideas and check to see if something I'm thinking of has been tried elsewhere and find out some feedback before I take that step. Something like that.
The energy of the room, even in conversations that were tough, was always at a high level. There's an enormous amount of talent and expertise in the room.
Is there, though? How do you know? Why were they hired in the first place? What elements qualified them for the job? Given DEI, are you sure it's expertise? Don't we all have to question that now because of DEI?
In a way that, I just didn't know it exists for me in this line of work. And so now I have a whole new set of peers, of people that know the work that I'm doing every day, that know the challenges, but also know the opportunities and have been down the roads that I'm about to travel. So I feel like I've got a really good resource group, but I also have people who have empathy for what I'm feeling day to day when someone says no, or no, we can't speak on that, or, just, okay, that's great. But
I would love to know what she's referring to when someone says no, or we can't speak on that. In what context is that a big downer that you need some support for? The mysteries of life.
When someone says no, or no, we can't speak on that, or, just, okay, that's great, but how we budget for it, they have those answers, or they at least can collaborate with me on trying to figure it out. So very solution driven. I've learned a lot, taken a lot in these last couple of days. And as a new member, I'm just excited about what's to come.
Okay, great. Oh, and I also applied for this. And for those of you that are watching live on Friday night, I haven't gotten a response yet, Beck. I got a form email that said, "Thank you for your interest in this, that, and the other, scribe." But I have a feeling it'll be rejected. I don't think they're going to call me and ask me about my interest in joining the DEI board. All right, I think I got one or two left here. Oh, here we go. Oh, this might be the advertisement one. Yeah, this might be it. Okay, the confidential, vendor-free membership organization for people leading diversity, equity, and inclusion at the world's biggest companies. Right, so it's confidential. You're not going to be getting any sales pitches from any vendors or anything. It's just going to be fellow DEI professionals across the corporate world. All right, I believe this is someone from the board itself, perhaps, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jordana Smith, and I'm a membership director with the DEI board.
Hi, Jordana. I'm Scribe. What does a membership director do? How do you work as an expert advisor? I don't know.
As a membership director, I see it as my job to connect with all of my members, understand what all of our members are struggling with, what they're doing well, what vendors they're using, where they have questions, what they're not thinking about that other members are. And at the end of the day, I'm just looking to connect people with the right resources, with the right other people, with the right conversation that's going to help them address those challenges.
Okay, and apologies, I have to, again, pause occasionally somewhat awkwardly. This sounds very form letter. I guess we'll just have to muddle on through it. Sounds very basic if you're just sort of like a community manager or something like that.
And at the end of the day, I'm just looking to connect people with the right resources, with the right other people, with the right conversation that's going to help them address those challenges, or get unbiased opinions about those vendors, or, gain a better understanding of the things that they haven't considered. That
opinions are inherently biased. I know. I'm being a nitpicker here, but opinions are inherently biased in some way, shape, or form because they're opinions. You wouldn't say opinion, say something like, empirical facts about vendors or something, not opinions anyway.
People with the right conversation that's going to help them address those challenges, or get unbiased opinions about those vendors, or gain a better understanding of the things that they haven't considered that other members are thinking about. So really it's understanding each person and then connecting them with the people and resources that I think can help them.
And she must be under a super NDA. If the individual members are under an NDA for blabbing about what they're talking about, the community director here, she must be under super NDA. What is one of your favorite memories of supporting a DEI board member? Oh boy.
I think one of my favorite ones is having one member post in Fast Feedback, that's our written forum, that they were looking for help to plan a seminar, a 3-day seminar for their ERG leaders.
Ooh, ERG leaders.
And they were looking for some input into how to do that.
Right.
And a direct competitor of that company chimed in and said, here's all of the information for the one I just did. It's our agenda, it's our music for icebreakers in the morning, it's the guest speakers, it's pricing, every piece of information she could provide, she shared, and then offered, I can also speak at your event if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I'm a competing company, and you're holding an event. Here's a bunch of stuff. I'd be happy to speak at your event and advertise our competing products and services to your members, agents, and otherwise, and maybe even poach some of your people. No, not that I mean it. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to help. Thank you, Alan Thyler. Holy cats. That is very generous of you, Alan. Thank you so much for the #1 samurai dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, there's a Sinatra dog cat fox. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Sunday and hope you're enjoying the show as a little bit off the beaten path as it is today.
And just seeing that even in competing companies, they were jumping in to lend each other as much support as possible, help competing companies to, approach things in a way that would save them time and money and energy and really help them, bring their own initiative to the next level.
I mean, it does sound very helpful, but again, me being the cynic that I am, I can't help but think that there's, also a little ulterior motive there. Like, here's all our stuff and everything else, and hey, I'd be happy to come on and speak at your event, and make connections with you on a business level. Interact with and network with your people from my competing company. It's no bother to me at all. It really isn't.
I just love that. And it's something that I really love about the DEI board is just the willingness to give as much as you can and really help to bring others, whatever insight or experience you can that's going to be helpful to them.
Sure. Again, professional networking. What's something new members are surprised about after they join? Oh, let's see. How about the number of people from big name companies, or how welcoming everyone is, or the amount of resources that they have access to?
I think something that surprises our members when they first join the community is that it really is as simple as we say, and we really provide all of the resources that we say we're going to provide.
Yes, the resources.
I know there are a lot of DEI organizations out there.
Yes.
And I know that at face value, they all seem very similar.
At face value, they do seem very similar because they all deal with DEI. And it all pushes some pretty sketchy ideas.
And I know some of our members have, joined other communities where they expect one thing and they get another. So I think it's surprising when members get into our community that, yes, every conversation is protected. Yes, everyone here is a DEI leader. It's someone who's in a similar role to you, who's having similar challenges.
Yes, professional peers in networking. Again, not a new idea, but okay.
Looking for similar approaches, just like you, they're looking to take their DEI strategy to the next level. And unlike other communities, there are no vendors here. No one's trying to sell you anything. Every opinion you get here is unbiased.
Again, every opinion is unbiased. No, I don't know why that sticks in my craw so much. The opinions are not unbiased. They are opinions. They are inherently biased. They are biased by the person's perspective on the world, their experience, their own opinion. They're not unbiased opinions. They're not. And if one competitor is trying to get in on your presentation to be a speaker, I don't know if there's no one selling anything going on. But okay, all right, I know. I'm just a nitpicker. What can I say?
And we have membership directors on our end who are with you every step of the way to help you catch anything that you might have missed or to flag conversations that are going to be valuable to you that weren't on your radar. And so I think members are just surprised at how easy it is to be a member and how much value you can get from this community, and that it really is exactly what we say it is, which is unbiased.
It is not unbiased. I can guarantee you it is not unbiased. Okay, let's just take the whole DEI thing out of it in the first place, right? Let's just say you have, mutual professionals in the same industry. Okay, as has been touted by the previous speakers and even intimated by our speaker here, you have different people from different industries or different businesses coming in with their experiences and their ideas, what worked, what didn't, and so on and so forth. They are defined by their own individual experience. That is not an unbiased opinion. It is biased. And by the way, bias is not in and of itself a bad thing, right? Like I have a bias of walking into the street when traffic is oncoming. I'm kind of biased against walking into oncoming traffic. I don't know what it is, but that doesn't make my bias inherently wrong, right? Or derogatory in some way. It depends on what bias you are talking about and what it is motivated by and to what end. Then more questions might arise. But when you're talking about professional networking, everyone's got a biased opinion because they're talking from their perspective. You keep pushing this thing like bias is bad. Bias is bad. No, unjustified bias can be bad, right? Discriminatory bias against someone not on the basis of their merits, but on the basis of non-determinative factors of their makeup. That can be bad, as well as illegal. But bias in and of itself shouldn't be some kind of warning or repellent or something. It's so weird.
Peer insights from people like you at companies like yours.
It's not companies like anybody else's. You had Mars Company and Bally's. I don't know how you can get much more far apart from one another. Candy bars and gambling. Well, I suppose, with your sugar levels or how many candy bars you have, you might be rolling the dice on health. Okay, it's all relative. It's all relative. But anyway, apparently, that's the end of my montage. So there you go, I guess, a sampling of the happy customers from DEI Board or board.org, a clearinghouse for various professional networking, confidential, NDA-driven idea exchanges. And yeah, so how's the weather? If I guess what the weather is at your particular location, I'll play the psychic stinger again. Let's see. Let's take a look at what you guys are saying in the chat here. I'm going to give it a shot. I hope you forgive me. Avshara Grastus. Way behind, but they're putting the B belonging in because they're shifting to bridge. Yeah, I've had bridge come up on my radar a couple of times. I mean to do something on that soon or a stream on that. So far, I can only find the website that covers that. I would love to find a video discussing it, and I don't know if there's an association or organization that has put out a presentation on that yet. I've been looking around, not as much as maybe I could, but things have been kind of hectic lately. So yes, bridge, which is like belonging, something, inclusion, diversity, something, equity. It's just a new litany of fancy words to say the same thing and try to get across the same initiatives. But the one thing they'll never be able to escape is the start of all of this, diversity. And now, equity or inclusion. You have either of those three words involved in your program. Anyone with any sense, and granted, there's not a lot in that way these days, but anyone with any sense is going to recognize it for what it is pretty quick. And the rhetoric cannot change because the goals remain the same. When it gets down to brass tacks, they're going to be talking about demographic split on the basis of race, on the basis of gender, on the basis of orientation. So it feels desperate like so many other changes they've tried to make in recent years, whether it was Jedi or adding B to it or A for accessibility or whatever, it just feels like a desperate gasp to try to re-innovate and dodge the already negative connotations that DEI is getting. Thankfully, a bit too late in the process, I think, but hey, better late than never. So yes, I'll try to find some more information on Bridge. Maybe I'll do just a sort of website read or article read on that in the near future, just for our collective edification. Shadowclaw, I like how the woman in the advertisement montage at the end referred to the illegal immigrant crisis by mentioning about changing demographics. I don't think, well, she might have been referring to illegal immigration, or she might just have been referring to the actual just observed changes in population demographics over the last several decades. The population of white people in America is slowly dropping in relation to other previously minorities and soon maybe not so minority demographics. So I don't know that it was explicitly about illegal immigration, because the population demographics have been changing for years, just of their own accord, and not necessarily because of border issues. Advocatus, I like how they said they had diversity of thought, then sold it as a place for people who think like you, very self-aware. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do the same job you do. They think like you do. They work in the same industries that you do, in the same work that business. And if it's all the same, then why do you need so much help? I was more struck, as I said earlier, the amount of loneliness and sadness and discomfort that everybody seemingly was expressing about their jobs. It just sounds like what a miserable place to be. Like, why would you do that? And again, the one lady quasi complaining about taking on too much or having too much on her plate because she has to talk to management, she has to talk to business, she has to talk to sales, she has to talk to HR. Well, again, all these companies are saying over and over again that DEI is embedded into everything that we do. And it is such an abstract and amorphous concept that it can go anywhere. It's like, it's like water through cracks and rocks. It'll go everywhere and get into everything. Also like sand. It's rough and coarse, gets into everything. DEI is mental sand. Shadowclaw. Oh, wait, I already clicked that one. Sorry, apologies. Let's see. Anything else? I got a dip. I'll catch you all soon. Well, Lexi, we are not all Pokemon, and you are not a Pokemon trainer. Unless you are a Pokemon trainer. But the first comment remains true. We're not all Pokemon. You're not going to catch us all soon. And at least you were going to dip and not dab. Because if you're going to dab, that takes skill. I've seen people screw up a dab before. Rib Rascal, DEI is mental sand. I don't know if it's that great. Might not be that great. And Advocast asked the relevant question: what kind of dip? Ranch? How about some? What's some good dip? Some onion dip. Ooh, yeah. Let's have some onion dip. Some onion dip and some Doritos or something. Faustonia, Ack. I am late. Hi everyone. Ack. Are you one of the Martians from Mars Attacks? Ack. Gilcado, DEI is sand. Now imagining the pocket sand with DEI. Someone's been playing too much New Vegas. But can you ever play too much New Vegas? I don't think so. By the way, there's a mod for New Vegas that has been in process for a long time now. It's Nuevo Mexico. Fallout Nuevo Mexico. I believe it is a prequel to Fallout New Vegas, a giant total conversion mod that's been in process for several months now. I volunteered to do some voice acting work for it. Haven't really heard back on that yet. I'm pretty sure some more professional individuals got the jobs, but in any case, if that ever does happen, if I ever end up as a voice actor for something, I'll let you guys know. But I'm drifting off into La La Land to try to fill out the hour. I want to make this an even hour. So that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any thoughts on the DEI board or any tips on where I might find some bridge videos that I haven't already discovered for future broadcasts, do let me know in the comments. Also, if you didn't know, and I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, because it's not an overly advertised thing. I have a Discord server where everybody hangs out and collaborates and communicates and keeps each other from falling into loneliness all the time or something like that. It's kind of like professional networking, except none of us are professionals, but same theory. Links in the description, pardon me. Links in the chat box there. Just click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. You just have to go to that channel, say hello, and give the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the channel because you're not a bot, presumably. And today's secret word is loneliness. Just say, hello, loneliness. Almost sounds like a song lyric, doesn't it? And I'll know that you actually watch the show and become a member of the Discord server. Outside of that, tonight, as far as I know, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel, me and a bunch of other nerds are going to be talking about our favorite monster movies, our top 5 monster movies. So if you have any interest in those kind of things, want to hear a bunch of nerds talking about movies and monsters and goofy stuff, check out Midnight's Edge After Dark at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And as another programming note, I am in the process of working on and creating a new, rare event as it is, a new scripted video. I just recorded the audio for it today. That part always makes me cringe because I still hate the sound of my own voice and having to go back and make corrections or try to take out little clips and bips and things and stuff. But it is in process. I have the script, I have the recording done, I have most of the elements I need to make up the video. Now it's just a matter of throwing it all together in the editing booth, so to speak, and make it happen. So as soon as I do, I will let you know. But beyond all that, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to any of the GoFundMe's pinned to the top of the chat box. But again, I am showing my bias slightly. Please take a look at the one for Moonshock and read the story there. Share it out if you are able. Donate if you can. Appreciate that ahead of time. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday and weekend. Hope the week ahead of you is not lonely and not stressful. I hope you're all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.